Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My brother, thank you so much for all your support. If you're new to my channel, you're welcome to my channel. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe and click the notification bell so that whenever I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Today I'll be making a peplum jacket. This is lining, African print, interfacing, este, the fabric one. You can use any interfacing of your choice. You can use gun stay. I'm going to cut the upper part of the jacket. It's the peplum jacket. The full length of the jacket is 25 inches. From my shoulder to my waistline is 17 inches. But I will add seam allowance to join it to the peplum. So what I'm going to cut now is from my shoulder to my waistline, which is 17 inches. Then I'll add my seam allowance. So this fabric is folded into two. So this is how I folded my fabric. I folded my main fabric this way and the lining also this way. I pinned them together. I folded this fabric with my biggest measurement, which is my bust measurement. I also added extra to it. So my bust measurement is 46. 46 divided by 4 is 11.5. So from this line is center front line, and I also added extra on this side and also extra on this side. On this side I have 6 inches, and on this side I have 5.5 to this line. 5.5. So this line is starting line because this fabric is not equal here. So my bust measurement is 46. 46 divided by 4 is 11.5. This is 11.5 here, so I have enough. I have up to 4 or 5 inches for seam allowance, but I don't need up to 4 or 5 inches. I need like 3 inches. This side is for the collar because it's going to be cut together collar. So this is my shoulder line. I'm going to mark my shoulder measurements. My shoulder is 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8. But I'm going to add 1 inch for seam allowance. So this is 9 inches here. I'll come down by 1 inch, shoulder slant. 18. 18 divided by 2 is 9, which is my chest line. I'm going to put my shoulder measurement here also, 9 inches. I'm going to mark my neckline, 3 inches, 3 by 3. On this side, 3 inches also. I'll curve it. I'll connect this shoulder slant to this point, to the neckline. From this line to this point is half of my round armhole. My round armhole is 18. 18 divided by 2 is 9. So this is 9 inches, half of my round armhole. So now this is my chest line. I'm going to add my bust measurement on this line. My bust is 46. 46 divided by 4 is 11.5. 11.5. I'll add 3 inches for seam allowance. So from shoulder to my waistline is 17 inches. My waist measurement is 40. 40 divided by 4 is 10 inches. From this line, 10 inches. Plus 1 inch for that, and 3 inches for seam allowance. So I'm going to connect the line. I'm going to mark the dart. Front dart starts from 12 inches, from your shoulder to 12 inches, or your bust point, you go down by 1 inch. So, but I'm going to use 12 inches. This is 12 inches. So, on this side, I will use my bust palm measurement, which is nipple to nipple measurements. My bust palm is 9 divided by 2 because the fabric is folded into 2. 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. 4.5 because I'm going to cut the dart off. I need smaller ones to join it together. So I'll add ½ inch to 4.5. So I'm going to mark 5 inches. From this line, 5 inches. So on both sides, I'll mark ½ inch. This is just basic bodice pattern. I'll connect it to the 12 inches. I'm going to curve the armhole. I'll get the midpoint. I'll come in by 0.75. So now I'm going to work on the collar. So now I will decide where I want my break point to be. So if I want it to be on my waistline, before the waistline, but I want mine to be on my waistline. Inches. Now I'm going to work on this side. So on this side I have extra 6 inches here, but I'm not going to use 6 inches. I'll just use 4 inches. I'll connect this to this 4 inches. This is my overlap. So from this line, I'll draw a long line to this point, to the neckline. From this point, this is my overlap 4 inches to my neckline here. So on top here, I will extend this line to 3.5 inches. My neck width. My back neck width is 3 inches plus ½ inch to join it is 3.5. So I'll mark 3.5 inches on this line. Yeah, 3.5 inches. So on this side, I will now decide how bold I want the collar to be. So from this side, how bold you want the collar to be. So I'll use like 5 inches. I want it a little bit bold. Okay, this line, you will not mark this line straight. You will do it, you will mark it, this line, you will not mark it straight. You mark it like angle 90. You will not mark it straight. You mark it like angle 90 this way. This side is how big you want your collar to be. If you want, you can use 4 inches, 5 inches, 6 inches, 7 inches, depending on what you want, how big you want it. So, but I will now connect it to somewhere here. Now I will decide the shape that I want to have here, the shape of the collar, the one that I will flip over here. If I will have it this way, or if I will curve it. I'll curve it. So I want my own, I want it this way. So from here, I'll connect it to this line. Because this one, you flip it over. Okay, so this is my collar. So now I'm going to extend this dart to shoulder. I'll check what I have here. I have 6 inches. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Then I'll add ½ inch for seam allowance to join it from this side. So I'll add 3.5 here. Remember, I have 9 inches here, extra 1 inch seam allowance on the shoulder. So I'll connect it to this point. So now I'm going to add the seam allowance, then after that I'll cut it. So now I've added the seam allowance. I added ½ inch here. So now I'm going to cut it. this is the front one. It's 4 pieces. It will overlap like this. So you will use this is the lining. So you will have 4 of this on the main fabric, because I don't need this one as lining, because I will use this to cut the facing, or I will just use this one and cut more 2 of this for facing. I want to cut the back one. This line is starting line, and this one is a 1/2 inch seam allowance to sew the back, the center back, because I want to cut it open. But if you don't want, you will leave your own unfold without cutting the open. You will not add the seam allowance. It's optional. So the fabric is folded into 2. This is the lining, it's folded into 2, and the fabric is folded into 2 also. So I want to mark my shoulder measurements. My shoulder measurement is 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8, plus 1 inch seam allowance is 9. I'll come down by 1 inch. I'll mark neck width of 3 inches, neck depth of 1 inch. I'll connect it. Half of my random hole is 9 inches. My random hole is 18 inches. This is my chest line. I'll mark 9 inches here, the same measurement that I mark on my shoulder measurements, that I marked on the shoulder measurements. I'll connect this shoulder slant to the neckline. So midpoint, I'll curve the armhole, but first I'll take my bust measurement, 11.5, plus 3 inches seam allowance. My waist measurement is 40 divided by 4 is 10 inches. From my shoulder to 17 inches is my waist measurement, my waistline. So 40 divided by 4 is 10 inches. 1 inch for that. 3 inches for seam allowance. So seam allowance, you don't really need up to 3 inches, but when you finish joining, you will now trim off the ones that you don't want. But it's better to have more than shortage. I'll connect the line. I'll cut the armhole. I'm going to mark the dart. Back dart starts from 9 inches, or your chest line will go down by 1 inch. 9 inches. Or our chest line is 9 inches. I'll go down by 1 inch. If you want, it's still okay. On this side, I will use a bust palm measurement. My bust palm is 9 divided by 2, because it's folded into 2, is 4.5, plus 1/2 inch to join the dart, because I'll cut it off 5 inches. I'll mark 1/2 inch on both sides. I'll connect the darts. On the shoulder line here, I will check what I have. I have 6 inches. Half of 6 inches is 3 inches plus half inch to join it. 3.5. I'll mark 3.5. I'll connect it to this point. So I'm going to add half inch seam allowance on this line and half inch seam allowance to join it to the peplum line. I'll come in by half inch. I'll connect it this way. So I'll mark half inch from this line. I'm going to cut it. I've added half inch seam allowance. On the waistline I came in by half inch. From there, that half inch I marked half inch for seam allowance. So I'm going to cut it. On the lower part here I added half inch seam allowance to join it to the peplum. Also half inch here also. So this is the back one, the main fabric. This is center back. If you want it, you will not open your center back. It's optional. This is the lining for the back one. Now I'm going to cut the peplum. I'm going to cut the lower part of the blouse. I'll minus my half length from the full length of the blouse. From my shoulder to my half length is 17 inches and full length of the blouse is 25 inches. 25 minus 17 is 8. I'll add half inch seam allowance to turn it with the lining and half inch seam allowance to sew it to the upper part, which is 1 inch. So the length of the peplum that I'm going to cut will be 9 inches. 8 plus 1, 9 inches. My waist measurement is 40. I'll add 2 inches seam allowance because I'm going to cut 360 into 2. I will join it. I'll use half to join it at the back and half on this side. So which is 2 inches. I'll add 2 inches to 40 inches, my waistline. And then, because it's overlap, I added extra 4 inches on both sides, which is 8 inches. 4, which is 8 inches. 8 plus 42 is 50. 50 inches is the waist measurement I'm going to use to cut this peplum, but because I'm going to cut a 720-degree peplum, which is 360 into 2, I'll divide 50 inches into 2. 50 divided by 2 is 25 inches. So one peplum will be 25 inches, the waist measurement. So I will now get the radius. I will use a 6.28 to divide 25 inches. 25 divided by 6.28 is about 4 inches. So waist radius 4 inches plus 9 inches is 13 inches. I'll fold 13 inches into 2. 26 inches. So I'll make sure that I have 26 inches on this side and also 26 inches on this side. I'm going to fold the fabric. I'll fold it into 4. So this is the folded edge. I'll mark the waist radius, or your waist measurement, you divide it into 4 because the fabric is folded into 4. 25 divided by 4 is about 6.25. So you look for where you get 2.65. Where you can measure 6.25 this way. So I'm going to mark 4 inches. from here to this point is length of the peplum, 9 inches, 8 inches plus 1 inch. From top, 13 inches, 13 inches. This one also. Okay, I'm going to cut it. From here to this point is my waist measurement, and from this point to this point is the length of the peplum. So I'm going to cut it. So this is one of the lining. I'll cut one more of this so that I'll have 2 for the lining. I'll also cut 2 on the main fabric, so I'll have 2 of this and 2 of this. If you want, you can use 360-degree peplum. Like if I want to use 360-degree peplum, I'll add 1 inch to my waist measurement. My waist measurement is 40. 40 plus 1 is 41. That 1 inch seam allowance is half on this side and half on this side to sew it. Then, because it's overlap, I added 4 inches extra on both sides, which is 4 for 8 inches. 41 plus 8 is 49. So the waist measurement that I will use to cut this 360-degree peplum will be 49 inches. But if you want it full, you will add more inches to 49 inches so that you can pleat it. Please watch out for part 2. Anything that you don't understand on this video, I have another video on how to cut shawl jackets. I'll put the link in the description and also on the comment section. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.